Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news-making headlines today. President Lee Jae-myung held talks with Belgian Prime Minister Patrick in Brussels on Wednesday. Expanding cooperation for small and medium-sized firms was high on the agenda, with Belgium being a key logistics hub in Europe and a biotech stronghold. Later in the day, President Lee will also meet with President of the European Council Antonio Costa and President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen, building upon their last meeting at the G7 summit in Canada. The government and ruling Democratic Party have agreed to deploy all available policy measures on stabilizing the currency and inflation. At a special committee meeting on responding to the economic impact of the Middle East situation on Wednesday, officials from key economic ministries monitored the impact of rising oil prices and a weaker won on consumer prices. The government is considering extending a temporary exemption from the macro-prudential stability levy, a move aimed at reducing dollar funding costs and boosting dollar liquidity in the market. To ease pressure on household budgets, the government is expected to announce emergency measures to lower some food import tariffs for the second half of the year. It also plans to increase imports of key agricultural and food products including eggs, while closely monitoring items vulnerable to supply disruptions. Samsung Electronics ranked first among the world's top chipmakers in facilities and R&D spending last year, with investment totaling nearly 90 trillion won, or approximately $59 billion. According to Corporate Tracker CEO Score on Wednesday, Samsung's spending in 2025 on facility investment was approximately $34.2 billion, on top of more than $24.3 billion spent on research and development. The figure was almost $13.2 billion more than the spending by Taiwan's TSMC, which ranked second. U.S. chipmaker Intel ranked third on the list, while SK Hynix came in fourth. The report found Samsung's investment has continued to grow over the past 5 years, rising more than $10.5 billion between 2021 and 2024. Hostilities between the United States and Iran have escalated following a series of military strikes and counter-strikes near the Strait of Hormuz. The conflict intensified Tuesday when U.S. Central Command struck Iranian air defense systems, ground control stations, and radar sites. Washington termed the operation a proportional response to the downing of a U.S. Army Apache helicopter on Monday. In retaliation, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard launched strikes targeting 21 American bases across the Middle East. Following the military exchanges, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman stated that diplomatic efforts to end the war are being severely undermined. New Korean series Teach You a Lesson became the most watched non-English show on Netflix last week. According to Netflix on Wednesday, the series topped the platform's non-English TV chart after its release last week, recording 6.4 million views. It also made the top 10 in 48 countries, including the Philippines, Argentina, and Egypt. The series features the fictional Office for the Protection of Teachers' Rights, an agency created to address conflicts involving teachers, students, and parents in schools. Also, on the non-English TV chart, 4 other Korean titles, including My Royal Nemesis and The Wonderfuls, are ranked in the top 10. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.